Hello, everyone. So I'm Dominic Scafidi, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's not my first conversation with Debra Simmons, and it's like our third, I think, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So most of you will know I'm an executive coach, and I share a lot. You may have heard some other things that I've done, but I share a lot about spiritual understandings that are kind of at the core or basis of foundation of a lot of the work I do. And that's the context for how I know Debra, because we are in some similar communities where we explore various spiritual understandings. And for me, a lot of the core ones, and there's several, but really core ones for me are teachings of Sydney Banks, and then the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but I'm influenced and see resonance in so many others as well. But those are kind of I'm often quoting.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
incessantly quoting. I can't seem to help myself often from those two teachings. But so that's me. And Debra, would you like to just say a few words?
Okay, yeah. So I am definitely I'm really interested in the spiritual side of these things and the teachings, and very similar. Things just come out of my mouth that don't necessarily. I'm like, oh, okay. You can't help it when you immerse yourself in these things, and I'm really interested in the practical side of, like, I teach people that these kinds of understandings, or at least point them to what they have inside them through this, and see how practical they are in our normal, ordinary, everyday life. And that's what really fascinates me and interests me, because we can delve really deeply into these things that in one sense look as if they have zero to do with our day-to-day life, and how things are going on. But I love that when we look in that direction, it is so flipping helpful when the normal, ordinary, everyday stuff, which we all get, comes up. So I love that. So that's what
Yeah.
I teach people in that way, to help them with their everyday life, really.
Well, then this is perfect, because the way I think in this conversation, and they'll find other YouTubes with us, and even other YouTubes where there's lots of exploration more in the sort of spiritual side of it. But what I think is exciting here is, like, it's like, okay, yeah, that's all fine. But look at the situation that I'm in here. And this is the thing that I'm actually trying to do in my life. How does any of that serve me? How does any of that benefit me? What, like that. So that, I think, is going to be a fun way of unfolding our conversation.
And that's kind of exactly how the stuff I'm going to share a little bit about today, that's really exactly how it came about. Because, as you said, we've had a couple of other conversations, and if people want to go and listen to those, if things are alluded to here, then feel free, because we're not going to dive into that. But I'd messed up a lot of my life, a lot of things in my life, and then I had found, through spiritual understanding, through the teachings of Sydney Banks initially, I'd found a whole different way to be in the world, and really seen things, other things were totally making sense to me, and a different way to be in life. And then I was having this, I'd learned through my relationships and in lots of ways to follow my nudges and all this. And I noticed that for many years I'd been kind of having this nudge, and it was like, buy a piece of land and build your own house. And I was kind of like, I loved the idea, but it was just like this whole, to actually do it was really ridiculous. It'd be like saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be the Queen of England tomorrow. Well, of course I am, and then we can pretend and all this sort of thing. But actually, when we got back to the reality of it, we know that isn't going to happen. And this kind of felt like that, and so I ignored it. I just ignored it. I used to, for many years, I would go and just see plots of land when I noticed that, if you're flicking through house sales or looking, I go, oh yeah, I'll go and see. But I never, it was just something clearly that I had a pull towards, a nudge for, but I just never did anything about it. And then all of a sudden, I kind of thought, well, everything that I'm saying sort of says, if you follow these nudges, I watched myself, work with other people and have conversations and even share stuff I had done myself and sort of say, yeah, if you follow your nudges, if you go with this sort of thing, it's amazing what can happen. And then all of a sudden I noticed it's like, yeah, you're being nudged here and you're just totally ignoring it. You're totally not taking any notice. And so,
Aha.
yeah, you're not doing that is definitely one of those nudges, and you're not walking your talk. And something for me, I that is definitely something for me. I like to walk my talk. I don't like to share with people things that I haven't in some way or another seen for myself. So I was like, okay. So I went to see this piece of land. It's actually an old agricultural barn. And a little garden with it. And I went to see this particular land. And as soon as I stood on this piece of land, I just had this whole, I can't even, oh my gosh, I had tingles, and it was just like, this is my land. This is my land. And I was about 1,000,000 miles away from any kind of situation where I could buy this land or anything, and the estate agent said, oh, if you're interested, there's a lot of interest in, so put an offer in quite quickly. And I'm sort of smiling and pretending, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm like, okay.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, would they accept £2.50? Yeah.
Because I have that on me now.
Yes, exactly. And that's it. There is no more. And so but something in me, with this nudge, I just had this knowing. It's like, yeah, there's something here. There's something here. So I kind of went home, and I didn't really say anything to anyone to start with at all. I just sat with it, and I just imagined the beautiful home that I'm going to live in on that land. And I was just, it was definitely very, very playful, very, very light. And obviously, I just carried on with my life. And it was like I had this little secret, nobody knew. And it was that, and what have you. And so a year went by. And in that year, something happened with my partner that actually meant that he had a small amount of money. And he just suddenly said to me one day, oh, that piece of land, that barn that we went to see, it's still up for sale. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, do you want to go and see it again? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And so, and we still, like, the difference between, I think the land was up for sale for 100 and I think it was about £180,000, and we now had about 120,000. So there's still quite a gap there, but that's a huge difference. And the things that happened in that year to make that happen were also, there was a lot of very strange things in with that too. But anyway, so we went to see the land again. And when I got there, I just heard myself say because the estate agent said, I don't understand why this land is still up for sale. I don't understand it. And I said, well, I do. I said, because it's mine. I said, that's why. Oh, wow. I said, it's mine.
That really resonated. That really resonated what you just said. It was like a knowing that it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hit me. It hit me when you said it. I really got it. That was your land. That's the reason it doesn't sell.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I watched myself put it in an offer for all of the money that we had. And so he kind of said, well, that's a crazy offer. He said, but it's my job to put it to the vendor, so leave it with me. And so he did. And then he got back to me and he said, if you will up your offer by £10,000, it's a yes. And so then I heard myself, yes, so yes, we'll do that, with zero idea of how that was ever going to happen, because we didn't. It was like, if we give them that, yeah.
But can I say, when you said it, that also was a knowing to me.
Yeah, it was to me too.
Yeah, I just heard that. Like when you said, he said, if you up it by 10,000, The yes was a knowing that you will up it by 10,000. I really felt that. So continue. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
So yeah, so I said yes, obviously, and then interestingly, so it started to go through, and I was so excited. It was amazing. You know, things were going. I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. And at this point, I started to talk about it. I thought, right, this really needs some talking into being. And I'd shared it.
What was behind just your understanding? Why? Because you weren't talking about it, but now you're talking about it. You said this really needs something. Just say more about what was that understanding that it needs talking about, whereas before it didn't need talking about.
Yeah. And I really see that there is a moment, and I guess that is a knowing and a feeling as well. There is a moment. I could see that if I had talked about this any earlier, and I guess it was who I am, or I could see I could too easily have been talked out of it. Like if I had said to somebody, you know, when I first saw that land, I mean, I did a couple of times. I sort of said, I'm going to have that land and live there, to a couple of people, and people would go, yeah, you know, and maybe even feel that I might, but not it. But it wasn't enough to make them actually look at me and question, what, are you serious about this? Are you going to? It was just one of those things that we sort of say. And I recognized the moment that it was like, okay, I can see that there is power in our words. And in so many other areas of my life where I have changed things around, I totally trust when I know to speak and when I know not to speak. There's kind of a knowing with that, and a trusting in me. It's time. And there definitely is a moment, I think, with our creations that they are so, I guess they're like seeds, and you know, when they're in the ground, we leave them to do what it is they're doing in that darkness on their own, and it's not ours to do yet. And almost as they break through and they become something, that then there's more. I don't know. It feels like that to me. So there was a moment there where it's like, yeah, you talk this into being now.
Yeah. So is it okay if I add my geeky technical explanations of the same thing you just said so succinctly, right? Mostly because I just can't help myself, right?
Oh, cool.
So because you know, I'm like this precision geek and precise articulations, right? So and just stop me and nudge me if it goes off in any way, right? I really, it's what you're saying, I can feel it, right? And so the earlier state that you described is the beginning, the feeling of desire, an energy.
Yes.
That is you, that is expressed through you. Now, it's kind of interesting because it doesn't sound to me like you were necessarily had this big dream that one day you're gonna whatever. Like it's like something like, because it was not possible or practical given your circumstances or any of that. So it's not like because you're shopping for land all the time, you developed this desire that one day maybe you could have, right?
Yeah.
So irrationally, it's irrationally making no sense at all. Something gets you to go see some land, which, by the way, the way you described at that time would have gone, you know, asking 180, and you were far from it. You weren't even at you at that point, the 120 wasn't there.
No, nothing, like maybe nothing.
So close to nothing is there, and you're looking at a piece of land at 180. And then see, this to me is like, and then you walk onto that land and know that it's yours. That just doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, no. See,
It
this is
can't.
why you don't talk about it.
It cannot make any sense from what is created and manifested already. It does not make any sense from the reality that is in place.
Yeah,
But the
totally.
thing is that you knew the truth,
Yes.
not yet manifested. Now, when it happened, you could feel something, but you didn't yet know. See, the difference between the beginning of something and when you have a piece of land or a home that is yours, this is a solid manifestation for all the world to see. Right?
Mm.
But in the and you know it's yours. There's even title on the property and all kinds of stuff. But when it begins, you walked onto the land and know it's yours. But I love how you said there was a knowing not to speak. You sound insane to speak your knowing into a world that would say, how would you know that? You don't have money. You don't have, right? What do you mean you know it's your land? This makes no sense. Yet, you know it's your land. Yet you know it.
Yeah.
And you can't explain it. There's not enough words to explain it. You can't do it. And I love what you said as well about keep it to yourself until it's more formed, until it's more solid. Because the moment I give a glimpse of something that's not solid enough within me, it will be met with an opposition.
Yes.
That will shake me.
Yeah.
If I'm not masterful,
Yeah.
and most of us cannot withstand that, right? Especially with our closest friends and family, the ones who know us well. If for us to speak something and they go, "What are you, some kind of an idiot? You can't be doing that. Would be the most irresponsible thing for you to attempt," right? Like, and they would be right because they would be looking at what's solid. So then later, you knew it's now time to speak. And my words in the description, the energy has built such momentum.
Yeah.
Because law of attraction takes every vibration and expands it and builds the momentum of it. The momentum of the vibration will expand. And in the absence of resistance, that vibration must manifest. In the absence of resistance, all resistance is thought. I can't do this. Where would I ever get the money? How would I ever put this together? So all resistance is thought, slowing down the momentum. There comes a point of that energy where it begins to physicalize. I made up the word, but it goes from non-physical to physical. And the earliest manifestation for most of us is in speaking and acting.
Yeah.
I give words to what is only a possibility, and that is its early birth in physical. I act from the truth of this possibility. That possibility has now been physicalized, and the thing in that journey is that can I hold steady to it as it physicalizes, as it becomes more physical, because it is now physical. You went from something that you're crazy to now something physical, which can be seen and heard and touched and smelled and felt. Like, so because your words, I can hear them. As long as you sit there just in your dream,
Yeah.
then not a problem. But the minute you speak, this is more physical than you sitting in your dream, right? And that is a different. It is the beginning of something becoming physical. It is the beginning of something being created. And so please continue your story. So you felt something
All of
and you
that,
started acting.
all of that is so relevant to kind of what happened next, almost, because there was a good while where I really stayed in that absolute certainty and that knowing, and things were kind of going along very nicely. And I mean, and this is totally new territory to me. You know, I have never bought land with, and it has planning permission for a house. Now, I don't understand planning permission. I don't understand like
really out of your depth. More crazy than you thought in the beginning.
Absolutely. And so I start getting, you know, this information about this land and this, and it's all in words that I don't understand. And, you know, the solicitor, he rings me one day and he says, right, we've got a problem. And I'm like, yeah, what's the problem? And he said, the piece of land that you're buying, I have got the land registry thing for this land. And he said, I'm looking at the planning permission and I'm looking at this land, and the two don't look as if they are going to work together. It looks like you're building your house on some land that you're not going to own, and stuff like this. And before that phone call, I had received a lot of paperwork that I really didn't understand. I was in this great place. Like before that, I was in this great place. We went to a build show, and I was just absolutely loving it. And then I received all this paperwork and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, I'm out of my depth. I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm doing here. What am I doing? This is ridiculous. Then I get this phone call and then I go like, whoa, I can't do this. This is total madness. And I kind of really step back from it and kind of think, yeah, I really am crazy. And I watched the whole thing just really slow up. Like it had really got momentum and it was really going. And then I just watched the whole thing. And then the solicitor was throwing all this, oh, I don't know about this, and I'm not sure about this, and there's this problem with this, and what have you. And it was fascinating because on the one hand, I could see my fear was like, I need to slow down with this a bit. I need to slow down. This is going a bit, what have you. And it's like, I haven't got the extra money that I need. And all those practical, like you said, you know, all those real world things were sort of coming in. And then I just had this moment and it was like, okay, so when you realize that about these nudges, what you decided to do was to play with this. It was fun, it was lighthearted. You're playing with this and you're following these nudges, you're doing the next thing, and everything was just, it was just wonderful. It was just amazing. I was just loving it all. And it's like, okay, and you know, your only job here is to come back to that good feeling. And it's like, and I wasn't even kind of like, right, this will guarantee anything, because I don't think the wisdom and the good feeling, it's not that it, do you know what it comes with is the guarantee of exactly what you want. It just, what I know
comes with a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Sid never said that, right? He never said, when you get in the good feeling, it comes with a house. He never actually said that.
Right? Didn't. Damn it. But I just knew that what I had done was fallen into, you know, I was getting into the details. And what I know from everything that I share is the answers are not in those details. If you are trying to, and it's not that you don't sort out the problems, as you know, but it was like, yeah, I'm getting bogged down in the details here and I'm really slowing this down. So it's okay. So just have a minute and just come back to what you know to be true. My job is to I mean, Sid, I just love, there was something I read in this book, the missing link, this really hit me, and this was kind of what I brought myself back to. Is it okay if I just read this?
Please do, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing book. Every
Yeah,
page, every word. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So every human mind has direct access to its experience here on earth, and the human mind always has access to its own spiritual roots from whence it came. The universal mind, or the impersonal mind, is constant and unchangeable. The personal mind is in a perpetual state of change. All humans have the inner ability to synchronize their personal mind with the impersonal mind to bring harmony into their lives. And I read that and I was kind of like, right. And Abraham talks about getting into a good feeling. I was like, this is your job. This is your job. All humans have the inner ability to synchronize their personal mind with their impersonal mind. And it's kind of like, you have moved way too far into your personal mind. You are out of harmony. You're going crazy here, woman. And it's like, come back to where you were, to that joyful feeling, to this. And it's like, whatever this will be, it will be, but don't do anything from that horrible, this is hard, I can't manage. So I kind of just made that my thing. It was just like, right, okay. And I just started remembering what I knew about what the house was going to look like. I just started, thinking, I don't know, that tingly feeling when I first went on the land, and just got back into a really, really beautiful feeling. And then I went to, the next thing I know, I get a phone call from the estate agent saying the guy who is selling the land, the vendor, wants to meet you there and talk you through all of these problems. So I was like, yeah, cool. Sounds like a brilliant idea. So we met him. And I mean, we're talking now, this was less than a week ago, last weekend. So we went and met, and he was just such a lovely man. He was always going to be. And he talked us through everything.
Let's not miss that. Let's not miss that. He was always going to be such a lovely man, because that's who you knew would be selling to you. Now, let's be clear about something. He is like any of us. He is a lovely man. He is a complete jerk. He is very angry at times. He's highly impatient at times. He's totally unreasonable, right? But what you knew is that the owner of that land was a lovely man. And therefore, when you went in and met this human being that is expressing all infinite possibilities, you met the one you expected, the one you knew that you were expecting.
Yeah.
Same one, but that's the one, that's the one you were the match to.
Yes.
You were not a match to any other version of that. That is the only, and law of attraction brings what's active within you. It doesn't change other people. We're not controlling the universe. What is active within us is matched and reflected back to us. What is not matching in that man cannot show itself in that interaction with you. That sort of unreasonableness or other part cannot show. There is no opening or matching for that in the interaction with you when that's how you're showing up. It is a co-created experience. And so there it was unfolding. Please continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, we talked it all through, everything, and I was totally satisfied with all of this. It's like, yeah, this is absolutely it. So then I go back to my solicitor on Monday of this week. I went back to my solicitor and I said, yeah, I'm totally good with everything now. I'm good. So we have signed the contracts.
Oh my God. That's just 4 days ago. That was like
Yes.
4 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
Congratulations.
any minute now, this land is ours. And it's like, so what I
Can,
really,
can I just say as well? So I didn't know the ending to the story. You and I get on this call. So I love, by the way, I'm so grateful that that worked out that way. I got to tell you, partway through the story, I go, I really hope this has a happy ending, because I'm not sure what's going to happen with this story. But okay.
yeah, I mean, we're kind of, and I think this is one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to share this today. When we decided on this conversation, I had no idea this was
That
where I was
this would
going to
be the
be,
top.
and this was going to be relevant. But one of the things, one of the reasons that I wanted to share this today is, we pretty much own that land now. On both sides, the contracts have been signed, and it's just a case of them deciding. And so there's a couple of other things in there that I'm going to share in a moment. But I am literally we're part way through this story. Yes, that land is now, barring something really unusual happening, that land is now ours. But it's like, I now need to, the next thing is, we're building a home on that land. And that is kind of like, what? You're building a home? And I can see again, and this is my game, if you like. This is kind of what I'm playing with this, playing with the universe, playing what I've learned about things. And it's like, okay, this looks ridiculous that I can build a home here, that I can do that. I've got myself a nice pink hard hat. And that's
Well, at least you're acting as if you could build the home.
yeah. So it's like, we're sort of, I'm far enough into this, exactly like you say, that there is definitely there is form to this now. There is something here. There is something out in the form. There is something, and people are talking to me, local people know that we're buying this land, and they're kind of, oh my gosh, we're so excited for what you're going to do with this old scruffy barn, and we're all excited about it. And that feels, I love that, because the energy, anytime anyone speaks to me about this, I have a total knowing. I can already see the house that we are going to build that is going to be there. And so then there's this whole other kind of piece that went on when we were we were short. We hadn't got enough money to buy this. The vendor wanted £10,000 more, and we hadn't got £10,000. And so then I again sort of thought, okay, what is it that you do in these circumstances? And I looked, back over things that I have learned, things that I've done, and it was like, right, you go inside and ask for ideas, ask and it is given. It's like, okay, so you go inside and ask, how does this work? What do I do here? And then this idea came to just get on calls with people and tell them that this is what you're doing. You're building this house, and sort of say, ask for ideas, ask for money, ask for donations if anyone was interested, ask for support, and so I ended up having a series of amazing calls with people where I really kind of I learned so much about myself and my own fears and my own resistance and what I was prepared to do. It was just, the learning in that was just amazing. And we've ended up, as people have signed up to work with me. People have donated money. I've started something called a creators circle, where I'm sharing about what's going on and saying to people, give me a donation of anything, a pound or 100, anything, and join in this. And I also asked for anyone, because what I see with the house is, I've already started a book, and I've asked people. I've got a couple of postcards here from Arizona, and I've got some others, and I've just said, if you are energetically with me on this, will you send me something? Whether you've made a
Oh,
donation, will you send me something? Because this house is going to represent something. This house is going to be, a beacon of what is possible. And so I'm collecting. I've got some more, but they're not in here. These two are in here. But like,
wow.
I had an amazing conversation. I'd never met one of the ladies. I'd never met her. She's in Arizona, and she was just like, I'm totally in. She said, she said, your energy is amazing. And I was like, yeah, and that's the point. That's the point. It's like you said, when you said about me meeting that amazing man on the land, I see, yeah, we are going to meet things and create things and in the vibration that we are. So this is very much about, okay, if I am that person, this is going to happen, and I'm just going to follow the nudges with how I create this happening.
Right. Wow. So thanks for that unfolding of the story. It's I love that the surprise ending for both of us. And it felt odd to me when we got on this call and we started talking, and then you began to say, well, here's what I think we should talk about. And I actually, like I just said, stop, let's start recording. And then as you were talking, I realized, oh my God, I actually don't know this story. I have to laugh because I'm like, uh-oh, I actually don't know what the story is that we're actually talking about. So I think it was so funny. And also, I don't know what nudged me to do that. I actually do, but
Yeah, you do.
I actually do. But so when you talk now about it's so fascinating how here you are now, such an incredible manifestation. And Abraham says this all the time. It's like a desire arises within you. So, and notice those words. You identify a desire that's arising within you. That's very different than I have conjured a desire that I want. These are very distinct words, and
Yeah,
people confuse
yeah.
it.
It
You've
is very different.
very different. You
Because
weren't.
because if I had decided, it wouldn't have been this. And there have been many times when it's kind of like, what even are you doing?
What even are you doing? Because see, the difference being that if you were, you know what, I'm not happy, I don't love where I live, there's got to be something better than this, and what this is this. So literally solving your problem, like literally thinking up the solution to dissatisfaction. That is not what Abraham talks about as desire, is that I'm living a dissatisfied life, and what I want is this other thing, which will make me satisfied. That is not what desire is. And there's such a misunderstanding of that being desire. Right?
Yeah,
It's not desire.
No,
I've tried to distinguish, oh no, I'm talking about true desire rather than this conjured desire, to try to get more to what Abraham says and what Sid pointed to and all of that. But so I just wanted to make the point that you identified the desire within you, which is, especially if you go too far, immediately met with the resistance of your own thinking.
yes.
Right? So I feel it, and in the burst of joy that I feel, right, I get a glimpse of it, which is immediately resisted by the personal mind.
Yes.
personal mind catches a glimpse of that and goes, what the hell do
Oh,
you think you're doing? You need to get your head out of the sand and
yes,
you got to start facing this reality. So an onslaught of personal thinking will start to resist that desire that's bubbling up. Now, Abraham says, you cannot resist desire. You can never resist because a true desire, let me say it this way, and it's very dualistic language, but I'll clean it up in a moment. You cannot resist that desire because it's not yours. It's coming from the eternal part of you. This little you cannot resist that desire, this little mind with all its little thinking. You cannot resist that desire because it's not yours. It came from the eternal soul of you. You will never resist your true desire. Now, I'll clean up the language in saying that I'm only talking about one thing, one mind. I'm only talking about one self. I'm not talking about two selves. But you have to say two in order to understand this more clearly. So this is Abraham will say, you cannot resist your desire. So in other words, let's just be clear, you have no free will. Well, I'll clean this up in a moment too.
I love it.
I just keep complicating. I got to keep complicating. Okay, so you will have free will, but let me say it like this. You do not have the possibility of resisting this desire. It is from your soul, and it will be the life force that lives and breathes you. You are given freedom of thought. So you are free to either think in harmony with it or think against it. You're free to do that.
Yes.
And so as you think in harmony with it, you will be joyful. It will feel beautiful. As you think in resistance to it, you will suffer. You will feel the pain of that. But this,
I can say the yes, I can see the truth of that.
But this life force is not going anywhere. It is not stopping. It is relentless. This is where Sid said, at the end of the day, there is only one will, and that is the will of God, right? Which is the will of your soul, which is the desire of your soul. This desire will manifest. And this is just me. Abraham would never say this, right? But this is just me. It kind of comes through and goes, look, we can either do this the easy way or we can only do this the hard way.
Yes.
But let me tell you, this is only going in one direction.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the sort of what we're playing with. And my very long point that I wanted to get to is once you've allowed the manifestation to occur, Abraham's often asked, so I got it. I got the thing I wanted. Look, it manifested. And Abraham says, yes, so what? You did not come here for these creations. You came for the joy of creating. You came for the joy of creating. The joy was in creating the manifestation. And so it was in allowing, it's allowing my desire. And Abraham says, let me tell you something. When you get there and you finally have reached it, as an eternal being, you are now standing in a new reality. And you know what happens in a new reality is the desire arises within you. You're in a new desire with contrast, and the desire arises within you around, it's a house. Now there's a beautiful house that needs to go on, and the next one comes, and the next one comes, and the next one comes. And you ask the question about, now I have no idea about this house. How the hell are we ever going to build a house? And the same intelligence and wisdom that knew how you would get the land is who's in charge of this.
Thankfully. thankfully. And
Thankfully, because I got nothing.
yes, exactly. I genuinely have got nothing here. It is like, but yeah, I mean, everything that you have said there, and I think a part of this whole thing for me is the clarity in seeing that, absolutely seeing. And I can see, you know, read what I read from the missing link there. This is kind of like, this is happening. Do you want to kick and scream and feel uncomfortable and not like it? Or do you want to synchronize yourself with me and we'll do this in harmony together? Because this is happening. And I can see, you know, sometimes at night I'm in bed or something and I have a very resistant thought that kind of says, you are just bonkers. What are you doing here? You do not want to do this. Just say you want to pull out and you're not going to have the land. Just say this. And then it's like, and I can see the pain in that, the fear in that, the uncomfortable feeling in that. And yet, you know, every one of these conversations, when I got onto, I can't tell you how many people I got onto conversations like this with, you know, and just talked about, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I would really, you know, I'm happy for you to follow my journey. I'm happy to you know, just to energetically kind of go, yeah, that's great. Just be there supporting me, whatever. And I have had some amazing conversations with people. I'm working with some beautiful people who are paying me to work with them off the back of this because,
Wow.
you know, they knew I was raising this money. And it's like, yeah, I can absolutely see my choice here is to step into that, step into it, own it, love it, you know, just do it, laugh at yourself, be lighthearted about it, or get into a blind panic of you have now bought a piece of land that has got a tumbledy down, terrible looking, really old agricultural barn that you've got to pull down. It's got no electric, it's got no water, you're mad, you know, all of this kind of stuff, and get into a ton of fear. And it's fascinating with that as well, isn't it? Because I can without telling any lies or even moving away from you know, a truth, if you like, I can describe that land as the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, or the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Right. Yes. And that it's beautiful. See, those words of description, equally valid description. Those words are either coming from the little personal mind with a very accurate description of what the hell is going on right now, right?
Yes.
Or you are giving voice to a universal infinite intelligence that has a much broader knowing and perspective of what's going on right now.
Yes.
Same words from a very different,
you can feel it. This is the whole, you know, when Sydney Banks talks about, and Abraham, you know, our guidance system is brilliant because you can feel it. And very much this whole thing for me is about me walking my talk. It's right, okay, I am going to feel into this. And it looks like you say, there is definitely a place where I can see I have zero free will. And then it's like, you can think what you want to think. Yeah, you can think what you want.
Think what you want to think.
Yeah.
Your freedom is to allow the life force or resist it.
Yes.
Right? God did not create robots.
No.
Where you follow the orders.
This is it.
There's freedom.
You're invited. It's like, do you want to? Do you want to do this? Exactly like you said, it's so true. Do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way?
Or the hard way.
And I can really see like the conditioning and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, all of the old thinking, anything like that. It really invites me to get into a panic sometimes in this. And what I am, a huge amount of my learning here has been taking that making that choice that we do have, you know, that I'm not a robot. Actually, I do not have to follow that train of thought if I don't want to. And I have watched myself follow, not only about this, but, you know, with loads of things in my life, I have watched myself follow that train of thought and really, really hate my life and really
No.
hate myself and really, you know, get into some terrible, terrible situations. And with this, it's kind of like, okay, you have a chance to see what is actually possible with this. If you know, is it true? When I read that, you know, that Sydney Banks said that every human being has within them the built-in ability to synchronize with the impersonal mind. And this conversation, it's like, yeah, you've said there's two ways of using this one intelligence. And it's like, do you want to create a fight, or do you want to create harmony? And that is where I have got
Yeah.
and it's
the thing I think is worth clearing up in the confusion. Often I hear a lot of confusion is that the wisdom in the feeling is guiding you, right? The wisdom in the feeling, all the wisdom is in the feeling. It's not in my thinking in any way. It's in the feeling. Is how the wisdom is revealed through the wisdom is revealed within the feeling. That's the truth, is the feeling. Now, people say, because yours is a good example. So then, see, this is the misunderstanding. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling a lot of fear and insecurity about this. It is my wisdom telling me to turn away. And people think, yes, there's a warning bell being provided by your soul to turn from that thing. And I want to clear this up because it's the biggest misunderstanding. And what Sydney Banks said, understanding that your wisdom is in the feeling, he went on to say your wisdom is only in a positive feeling. Why would he say that? I mean, if this is an energy and he's saying it is a formless energy, it's an infinite intelligence, why would he say that your wisdom is only in a positive feeling? If it's intelligent, your wisdom should be in everything, but that's not what he said. He said your wisdom is only in a positive feeling. And this has to do with the completeness of the three principles. It is a formless energy experienced through your own thinking. That's essential. You cannot feel anything that you are not thinking. Mm-hmm. You cannot feel this energy that lives you without your own thinking.
Yeah.
So the feeling only is available as the relationship between the energy of my thinking versus that energy of that universal divine mind with divine thought. If my thinking is anywhere close to the intelligence, if it is anywhere near the intelligence that is flowing within me, it will feel good. If my nonsense, lies, unintelligence, the further away it gets from that energy, the worse and worse and worse and worse it feels. Yeah. The negative feeling is not pointing me away from the house. When I feel that fear and insecurity, the negative feeling is not pointing me away from the house. Go run. You're doing an idiotic thing. Go run. The negative feeling is pointing me away from the unintelligence and stupidity of the thinking. that feels like that, you're never going to be able to put the money together. And who do you think you are anyway? You don't have that kind of thing. You don't even have a record of this. You can't even understand what these legal papers are. That thinking is what you're feeling is pointing you away from.
Yes.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Don't engage with that.
And I can, and it's interesting, even the things you said there, because I can really see, I received all these papers and I'm reading to them, and I am getting into, oh my gosh, I've taken on something that's wet, and that doesn't feel good. It doesn't, in no way does that feel good. And yet, when the guy who's selling the land, when he says, come and meet me here, and we just had such a lovely conversation, and the feeling in me then is, yeah, just take the next step. And I also really see that in wisdom as well. It comes with this really good feeling. It doesn't come, like you say, with a house. It doesn't come with anything. It comes with, do the next thing. Just do the next thing. This is it. Do the next thing. It's like, sign that. Do the next thing.
Thank you for that. Do the next thing is kind of the, will you allow the next thing or resist?
Yes.
So even
too.
in your action, see, the trouble is that universal mind and infinite intelligence can't sign the documents.
No, I've got to do that.
It cannot sign the documents. So here you are, and you can feel it, but and as intelligent as it is, it cannot sign the documents.
And even still in there, I can see the whole, oh, but if you do and this goes through, that's every single penny you've got behind you now, it'll go. And so it is like then the resistance to, but so it is the wisdom, the good feeling, I'm there, the good feeling says, invites me to take the next step. And then the fear, the resistance, that comes in and says, whoa, 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 whoa. And you see, yeah, there's no, that feeling is saying, it's not like you say, it's very easy to take that as a, yeah, phew, you just dodged a bullet there. You can still get out at the moment, run away, rather than that lovely feeling when we're on that land, the sky is showing me, I can see my house there. It's just like I'm tingling, and it's like so nice. And it's like, take the next step. And that is absolutely, this whole story is, and one of the reasons I'm sharing when it hasn't entirely finished is because I want to see, can I just keep taking that next step? Can I synchronize with impersonal mind? Can I continue to do that? Just one step at a time. And I have no idea what the outcome, I kind of haven't, it's a weird one, isn't it? But it's just,
yeah. You know the way I'd say that, because I get your struggle with the words, right? That no idea the outcome or whatever. I'll say it like this. I know the feeling of the outcome.
I do.
Because the feeling of the outcome is this feeling, this vibration close to harmony. That law of attraction will expand and make more and more and more and more. There will be a manifestation out there that will feel this way, because it is born in this.
Yeah.
That's it's birthed in, right? And so my only job is this the feeling I want to birth circumstances, conditions, and things in my life? Or is there different feeling? Because I can easily birth other circumstances and things in my life. But so here's the thing, is like, I thought you said you knew. I thought you said you knew there's a house or whatever. See, that's the thing. I know the outcome will feel like this. That I know. But here's the thing. The minute I put form to it, all I'm able to tell you, the best I can do right now, I'm speaking almost for you, right? The best I can do right now from where I am is paint a little sketch of my envisioning of this feeling. And what I can tell you, if you ask me today, is it's going to look like this and like this, and it has that many rooms, and it has this view, and it has this thing, and it has this thing. And then, right? And then we'd say, so is that what you're getting? I don't know. I don't know. Wait a minute. I thought you're confusing me because I thought you said you knew.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. See, you're so brilliant at putting words on. That is exactly it. I have an absolute knowing of that amazing feeling, and it feels like, you know, I can feel the windows and the doors in that. But is it, you know, but
is
then
it like that? Is it not? And here's what I love about this, which is so allowing in your state. You have no attachment to the little sketch you describe.
No.
So you have a lot of passion and excitement but you have no attachment. And here's the thing, and people get confused with like law of attraction stuff. They hear other places, they say, you know, like you take a picture of it, you could put it up, you could draw it out, you could write it and journal about it, right? Like everything is useful only in one way. None of that crap will manifest anything, right? But if that is an expression of a vibration,
Yeah.
if I come across a magazine with a picture and my heart starts to
it's like when I stepped onto the land, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I stepped onto the land, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the vibration. This is it.
And there's a misunderstanding that if I take that picture and put it on my wall, someone might say, oh, is that your goal? Yes. Oh, so that's what you're trying to get? Not really. That's a good picture
of the feeling.
Right? I'm not attached there. Well, why'd you put it up on? I mean, if that's not what you want, why'd you put it up on your wall? Because it felt so good. It felt so right to me. Well, so you don't really want that? No, I would love that, but that's not the point. That's not the point. Well, are you willing to do what it takes to get that? No. I'm only willing to allow it if that's what it is. But I'm also, as long, it's like, if it feels this way, whatever is allowed will feel this way. What do I care?
Yeah. And
what do I care how it ultimately looks? So there's a commitment with no attachment. There's a feeling, but not like an obsession. It's very hard to describe, and everyone gets wrapped up in the words.
It is. When you were talking then, all I could think about, it was like trying to say, what does a color taste like?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's like, and yet there is a way in which, you know, when I think about this house and what it's like, I can taste it and touch it and see, but none of it, and it's, yeah, so it absolutely, it sort of came to me, is like saying, if someone asks you the question, what does a color taste like, you can sort of know, I sort of know, but I can't, trying to put it into words, trying to put that into form, it's just, yeah, madness and bonkers. So
Wow, this has been amazing. Okay, do you realize what we've just done here unintentionally? I had no idea it would come to this, but do you realize that what we've just done here is that we must have another conversation? Like, can you see that? Like, can you see that? Because everyone's on the edge of their seat, like in terms of so what happens next? Right? So what happens after this?
But that was a totally deliberate creation, because I just love speaking to you. That's this whole house thing. You know, I'm not even interested in the house. Like, I want to speak to Dominic again. What can I do? Buy a piece of land.
I mean, how would we not have another conversation? Like, how I'd get emails and letters, and it would be like, okay. But here's the thing with this. I want to thank you for this putting into a practical, what does it look like? What did you actually do? Just thank you for the practicality of a knowing that there's a certain energy and how thoughts become things. As Sid said, how the formless energy of all things comes into form. This is all thought. What do you mean, Sid? It's all thought. Doesn't look like thought to me. It looks like a bunch of things. No, it's all thought. And he's talking, it's an energy. It's the expression of an energy. And so I don't know. I don't know how that applies to my life. I don't know what that means. I have to live in a house. I have to, right, like that. And you've done a great job of saying, how does this teaching even help with anything that's actually practical? When I'm trying to do something in the world, I want to live in the world in a particular way. How does that teaching even relate to any of that? And I just love how it guided, how the understanding of the teaching guided every step of that.
That was a conscious creation. That part of it was, for me, it was like, okay, so you are gonna do it this way. You know what you know, and that's to, and I can see, you know, I'm not saying I was perfect at that, but it was every time it was like, okay, come back to what you know, come back to what you know. When I saw myself going off, it's like, right, this is how you're doing this, and this will either leave you with egg on your face or and my you know, I went in with enough with other things in my life, you know, other things that I've done. I know that this is how this works. I don't doubt that. And then it's like, okay, so if you don't doubt that, there isn't right, put your money where your mouth is then. If you are being pulled to this, which looks ridiculous and stupid, then just gently do this. Yeah, actually take the next step and do it, and let's see what unfolds. And already, one of the things I don't even quite, well, I'll do my best to put this into words, and I'm sure, you know, if there's anything, what I really see with the words ask and it is given throughout this, I've kind of been sort of saying, right, okay, I'm going to do this, but I need this, I need something coming back to me, because I'm scared, you know, I need something. And even like this conversation, I can't tell you how many little things have happened when I've got to a place of, oh my gosh, you know, do you actually want to carry on doing this? Do you want to take the next step? And then something will happen. Some beautiful thing will happen. And it's like, oh my gosh. And it's like the evidence, the faith in this, and then the evidence, the two it just keeps on happening. And it is like, yeah, you know, this conversation is perfectly timed, because and so many other conversations I've had with people, it helps me stay in that energy. And it's like, I say, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep coming back to this, but I need your help. You know, I can't do this on my own, because I see this is a co-creation. If I think I'm doing this on my own, I've got it wrong. And it's like, I'm not doing this on my own. And the word God works for me, but, you know, higher being, broader, I love the broader perspective that you say, inner being, whatever, it's source, it's irrelevant what you call it, but it's kind of, and it's definitely not something, again, it's not a separate thing from me. And when I accidentally think it's separate, I'm seeing it, you know, not quite right. It's like, okay, you've got to help me, we've got to be in this together. I'm going to do this, so will you keep giving me little, you know, will you keep giving me little breadcrumbs or little things to kind of say, yes, this is what I want you to do. And again, the wisdom in the feeling and all of that. And every time that I've come to a point and thought, there has been something, it's like they've gone, okay, we'll give you something to say, yeah, keep going, this is great.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. Yeah, I know it's going to be so helpful for so many people, and brings a new level of clarity to this conversation, because it's the missing link between no, it's just like, from, you know, all the talk I do and the chatter and trying to describe the workings of this, but what the practicality of, but what's this look like really when I'm in the middle of something like that?
Yeah.
What's it look like? And so that is a gift. Thank you. Thank you so much for that and for sharing that. And for everyone who's kind of been watching, you'll see at least a couple of other conversations on my YouTube channel that are also with Debra. And so you will love those. If you've loved this one, you're going to love those ones. And so click in. And then in the YouTube, in the video, is going to be a link also in how to reach out and connect directly also with Debra. And so I invite you to do that connection and get on her list or anything else that is going on, and you'll
Come and
benefit.
be the energy in this house.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Wonderful. And I don't know when that next one, but it's got to happen because
Yeah.
we've got to know how this unfolds. There's going to be a lot of insight and learning in that, and I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us in on the journey.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Thank you for being such a huge energetic part of it. So thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, I'll stop here, and we'll speak to everyone again in our next conversation.